So what are some of the other electrolytes which are important?
Okay, so the other electrolytes are also all important, but we're not taking them the same way as salt. So for example, potassium, as I mentioned earlier, we don't take them with water because those have to be inside the cell and not in the blood. So if you're taking potassium supplement, your blood potassium can increase and it can kill you. It's really a dangerous situation. You really don't want your potassium, blood potassium, to increase. So we try to eat high potassium meals. We balance it with sodium because actually in our body, if we took our body apart and we melted everything down and we looked at how much sodium, how much salt, how much potassium we have in us, by weight, the amount of sodium, not salt, but the amount of sodium and potassium are equal. By number, we actually have more sodium because sodium is smaller than potassium in a molecular sense, and sodium is just half, right? It's 40% of salt. So when we're looking at salt, we have 2-3 times as much salt in our body as we have potassium. So the salt is a more important element. And then we have calcium and magnesium. So calcium we don't supplement because, first of all, migraineurs drink a lot of milk and eat a lot of cheese, and so we don't really need calcium that much. And it seems that some of the papers that I'm reading that looked into calcium within the cells, it seems that in migraineurs, the intracellular calcium is higher than for non-migraineurs. So we are blessed with more calcium inside our cells, which can backfire. But if it's worked properly, then it's fine and we don't get any problems. And the last electrolyte of consideration would be magnesium. And magnesium is very important, but migraineurs react to magnesium differently from other people. For us, magnesium is an excitatory mineral. And so whereas people at night take magnesium for rest, if you're a migraineur, if you take it at night, you're going to be up all night having vivid, wild dreams, and you're not going to be sleeping. So we are not taking magnesium at night, but we are taking magnesium, and we're taking the full RDA dose of magnesium every single morning, preferably before 3 p.m. Like I don't eat before 2 usually. And so I will start my meal with my magnesium because I don't want to take it later than 3 p.m. But yes, we are very strong on taking magnesium. And so we're taking that. And we're taking a couple of other supplements that are not electrolyte oriented. We are taking a very special B1, thiamine, which is a TTFD, is tetrahydrosulfate, whatever. It's a long word. So it's just, let's stick with TTFD, which is extremely important for all people, not just migraineurs. So everybody I know in my family, I put on TTFD B1, but it's especially good for migraineurs as well. And for B2, I recommend the active form, which is the riboflavin 5-phosphate. That's the only active form. And so we're taking, these are the supplements that we're taking. We're not taking potassium and calcium, but we're taking the other ones. And these are very important for us. We're not taking anything else. So there's one additional thing that migraineurs come to me all the time, which is the MTHFR. I don't know if you were going to mention that under a different scope or not, but I thought I'd bring it under the supplements because we're talking about the electrolytes. Is that MTHFR is a variant for the B12 or B9. And if you go to any doctor, any literature, they always tell you that migraineurs have this MTHFR variant and they need to supplement B12 and B9. But when I look at the genetic variants, only about 50% of migraineurs have these genetic variants, which is the same as the general population. And of the 50%, only less than a quarter actually have it expressed, meaning that they show on the blood test that they need a B9 or a B12 or something similar. So the rest of them are not relevant. We're not supplementing anything unless we show some blood test for a need.
So we covered some of the vitamins as well. How about other minerals like selenium, zinc, iodine? Are they important?
Yes, actually iodine, I'm glad you mentioned, because we are also supplementing iodine. I forgot about that. So either supplementing iodine or taking iodized salt or both. And that's primarily because our food is so void of iodine. And so I would say nearly all of the people joining my migraine group, particularly women, have hypothyroidism. And that's just the lack of iodine. And so by now, everybody is taking iodine, and everybody who is taking iodine and had hypothyroidism is reversed, and they're off of all their medications. So that is, again, it's not just for migraineurs, but for everybody else. And selenium, we don't supplement because our food is very rich in selenium. So we don't actually need to. And zinc is a very interesting one. If you're taking zinc as a pill for supplement, it really isn't doing you any good. It's not really absorbing anywhere. You probably have heard during the so-called pandemic that we had recently that you need an ionophore to get the zinc inside the cells, right? And so unless you have that ionophore, you can't get the zinc into your cells. So there's no point of taking it. And in testing with blood, so far I've been going through probably thousands of blood tests, and so far found maybe 2 people who had low zinc, and I just told them have some oysters. I mean, it's just that simple. But if you're coming down with a cold or flu or any kind of virus, then not the pill, but a lozenge that you can very slowly dissolve in your mouth, so that, because the zinc works on contact, it's actually an electrical substance that will zap the virus and bacteria or whatever you have it on contact, is going to zap and kill them. It's not going to work once the bug is in you, in your blood, and inside your cells. It's not going to do any good. But if you have a sore throat, take it.
How about the liquid form?
It really doesn't help you anymore. Zinc is zinc. It's a metal. It can't get into anywhere unless it's being taken in there.
Let's come back to the magnesium you mentioned earlier on. So for migraineurs, it's better to take it during the day or with food rather than at bedtime. Are we talking specifically about a certain type of magnesium? Is it the glycinate, citrate, or whichever one? Or does does it make a difference?
Yes and no. So let me explain. This is, again, chemically is very complicated, but magnesium is the thing that we want to take, and all magnesium can't be on its own. It's a very reactive substance. So there's no magnesium anywhere on the planet unless in a chemical lab where it is just magnesium. It doesn't exist. It's a charged thing. And so it has to be connected to something. And so the question is, what is connected to, how well it's going to affect the driving of the magnesium into the cells. So basically, we're looking to see the magnesium glycinate. Then that means a glycinate is going to be an element that is tasked with taking the magnesium inside the cell. Can the glycinate do that? And so you have to look to see these other secondary elements that the magnesium is connected to see what they can do. So there are magnesium, for example, magnesium oxide. A lot of people go for magnesium oxide. But what does oxide mean? Oxide means it's already oxidized. What can that do? Nothing. It's already spent. It's already done. So taking magnesium oxide is going to make it highly inactive. There's not going to go anywhere. So there's no point of taking magnesium oxide. So you got to look at it from this perspective, that you want to get this other chemical, something that your body actually needs and uses. So when you're looking at glycinate, what is glycinate? Glycinate is an amino acid that you find in meat. It's like 20 amino acids. One of them is glycine. So magnesium glycinate is the glycine with magnesium. Perfect. Magnesium taurinate. Perfect. That too is an amino acid. Magnesium citrate. Citrate is fine. That is part of the metabolic cycle. Magnesium malate is perfect. It's part of some other cycles. So anything that could be part of your body as part of something or operating something will work. And oxide will not do anything. So you kind of have to look into. So I designed some supplements. I designed 3 altogether. One is magnesium, electrolyte, and vitamin D3. And I designed these basically for me. And I wanted to buy them from, there are a couple of pharmaceuticals you can order your own stuff and buy, but you have to buy a truckload. And I said, I don't care. I want mine and I'm going to get it. And my son said, no, Mom, I'll buy it for you. So that was for the salt, the electrolyte. And so he bought it for me, and that was a truckload. And so he said, okay, so you're using this, but it's so much. Can we also sell it to other people? And so a company was started by this. And so I now design supplements for them. I'm not involved with them, but it's my son's company. It's his second company. It's a side company for him. And so he sells supplements to migraineurs at a big discount. And I get my share free from the truckload that he's getting. So that's my connection. And so I select the kind of products that I know are good and qualify for a good absorption and totally pure. And so the magnesium that I designed contains the glycinate, malate, taurinate, and citrate. So it's 4 different kind of magnesium connections with the elemental magnesium in each capsule.
So we talked about the minerals, electrolytes. I think we talked about all the important vitamins. Does C play a role, vitamin C?
Yes and no. So it depends on a person. So I find it's not specifically migraine specific, but I find that maybe within the migraine population, it's more than outside of the migraine population. I don't know. There are more people who are unable to work with vitamin C. I'm one of them. If I don't take C, I'm going to end up with bruising, internal bleeding, and all kinds of issues. And it's not going to be the typical scurvy kind of a thing. It's a genetic thing, because what I found is there are some comorbidities with migraine, and one of them is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I don't know if you're familiar with Ehlers-Danlos, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those who are not familiar with it, it's basically a connective tissue disorder. And but there are a lot of little nuances with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is called EDS. So there are a lot of little nuances, and one of the nuances is this bruising and the inability to work with vitamin C. So I find that in the migraine population, there are many people who need to have vitamin C, but this may not be so outside of the migraine population.